very no, it's everything was on. We're streaming. Stuff.
Welcome everybody. We'll just start with the karakia before we kick off. Kia ora. Kia papa. Welcome everybody to this Martinborough Community Board meeting. It's very nice to have members of the public here. We should do health and safety. If you need to leave for fire or earthquake, there's a door behind you. There's a door straight out on the road. We meet out the front in the on the children's playground area. If you need a toilet, they're just down the corridor on the left-hand side. Okay. Have we got any opponents? Oh, he's there.
Can you hear us, Aidan?
I just might have to leave early.
Right. Okay, so no apologies. Any conflicts of interest? No. 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 Any acknowledgements or tributes?
I did just want to acknowledge the passing of Mark Haythornthwaite.
All right. Yeah.
Yes.
What's your name? Sorry, Mel.
Mark Haythornthwaite.
Haythornthwaite.
Yeah.
Yes, a well-known wine person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Area. Yes.
Yes.
You must have worked up until the very last day.
Yeah. He's a. Is that? I feel like I've seen him before. Yeah.
Okay. Now, we have people here for public participation. We've got two sets. You can see Aidan is being streamed in from some rural place like Danube. And you do realise that everything is being recorded because it's streamed out so that people can see it who aren't able to attend the meeting. All right. And so can we start with Vivian? Vivian O'Reilly, she's from, represents Rotary for South Wairarapa. Vivian, you've got 5 minutes. Shannon will tell you when there's 4 if you want to stop and wait for questions.
Everybody, thank you. James said, I'm Vivian O'Reilly and I'm a representative of South Wairarapa Rotary Club. The Rotary Club wishes to mark our 50th Martinborough Fairs in 2027 in either February or March, which is our traditional dates, first Saturday in February or first Saturday in March. Martinborough Fair is a charitable of certain criteria as to what we can donate to. At present, the trustees of the trust would prefer not to use the trust profits for this incentive. Reasons being that the fair over the last few years has had increased compliance costs from both council and others, which has had a big impact on our profit that we can distribute. Our club members are of the opinion that Martinborough Fair has put Martinborough on the map. And millions of dollars has been circulated into this community, not only from our profits, but from accommodation, eateries, retail have made on the days coming up to the fair and on the fair days. I'd like to give you an example of this to prove that I'm not telling porkies. Is that one of your local CAFs, for instance, at one fair did 1,200 coffees, and that would be an average. So I'm just letting you know that retail do very nicely out of the fairs, which flows on and hopefully helps council. Having given some facts to you, the Rotary Club itself has its own funds, not as much as the fair, unfortunately. So we would be of a nature to combine with the community board or council to look at a project that will mark this milestone. I'd like you to take time to discuss this, and I would be only too happy to join you in that discussion so I can answer questions if you need to. And we would appreciate if we had some ideas that by May, as our financial year is the 30th of June, and we would have to earmark the money that we would be using this project. I'd also like to thank you, James, for taking the time to meet with me. You come to the fair. Right? Thank you all for listening. If you've got any questions. Thank you.
Questions?
So have you, is there any ideas of what you're thinking?
Well, we're hoping that between us, you know, we can come up with something. I would say that you know your community better than us. A lot of us aren't from Martinborough. So I think it would be a combined working through and coming up with something great. It's to commemorate
Your 50th.
the 50th.
So it's a big,
As far as the party or the celebration, that will be on us to do as part of our fairs at that time. But this is a commemoration of 50 years.
So it's not, you're not looking for something to be celebrated at the fairs themselves,
No, what
but
is
but an actual community event to celebrate the combined,
yeah. This is commemoration between
yeah, between the,
council and us, or
Yep.
community board and us. It's how we mark it. As for how we celebrate it, that will be done by the fair. And at the stage, I'm exhausted. I will start thinking along those lines come June when they convene again and move forward. So I can't tell you what they've got in mind. I'm doing this now because if it's going to be something structured, we've got to move. And nothing questions fast.
Right.
Do you have a location in mind?
No, we're open to, obviously, the square in the quad is where
yeah.
it started.
Yeah.
But that, I wouldn't want to see it right down Jellicoe Street, right? Something like that. Essentially. But I'm not quite sure what you would like and what my committee allows me to, you know, fund you guys.
So,
I'm hoping we can do a combined thing.
right.
Because I think Martinborough itself has actually benefited significantly from us. So I'm saying we don't want to have all the expense, I'll be honest with you.
Thank you.
Making it such a vulnerable thing.
Yes, you are.
clear.
So thank you, Vivian. So what we'll do is we'll discuss this ourselves
Yes, please.
and we'll come back to you.
I'm very open to coming on, throw some ideas around.
Right. So leave it with us and we'll be in touch.
Thank you very much for your time. Everyone.
Thank
for
you.
coming. All right. So Jill, would you like to come forward? You, you can all drag your seats forward if you like.
Stage disruptions.
This is a fairly complex matter we're going to raise. And so you had 5 minutes in which to talk. But I think what we need to take out of it from you, we all know about it in that sense. We need to take out of it what it is specifically that you are asking of the community board in terms of what things you would like to either be discussed or to happen as a result of your presentation. Yeah. Okay.
I would like to start off. My name is Jill Grayson. I'm the coordinator for South Wairarapa Whenua Advisory Group, and you probably will know it's called SWAG, and it is now nationally known as SWAG. So initially, I'm just going to introduce from the onset the parties involved in our presentations. So I'm doing a presentation, a kind of an introduction. Richard will talk about batteries, which is really what we've come to talk about, and Ray will do why this matters to our community. So we've got the section 274 submitters. These are members of SWAG who are all independent parties of the court, and Richard and Ray are both submitters. The consenting authority, of course, is South Wairarapa District Council. The applicant is Whanua Solar Farm. The operator of New Zealand's transmission grid is Transpower, and the court who hears appeals and disputes under the RMA is the Environment Court. So who are we? SWAG, I will just give us a brief introduction. SWAG was established in November 2022. Our purpose was to protect the rural landscapes south of Greytown and extending towards Martinborough and Featherston from inappropriate industrial scale solar development. So as a community group, we represent approximately 80 properties in the area around the Greytown Transpower station who are all impacted by the 235 hectare solar development known as the Greytown Solar Farm Project. We've been in the Environment Court since October 2023, with the hearings taking place from July to December in 2024. And just to comprehend the complexity of this case, the full and final electronic evidence bundle is over 2,600 pages, and the court transcript is over 1,000 pages. Our current position is that we received an interim decision on the 28th of October last year, which directed the council and the applicant to refine the conditions where improvements were required. And we're now awaiting the court's response to those improvements in the amended set of conditions dated 27th of February this year, so that was about 2 weeks ago. The applicant originally submitted the resource consent application in December 2022 for a solar development only. The South Wairarapa District Planner at the time deemed that the adverse environmental effects were more than minor, so the application was publicly notified on the 8th of May 2023. A few months later, the applicant decided to directly refer the application to the Environment Court. So since October last year, SWAG has been engaging with Transpower with 3 specific OAA submissions, and most of those questions were under the OAA were really with regards to clarifying grid capacity issues and constraints in the Wairarapa. However, we also questioned whether a battery energy storage system known as a BESS was part of the Greytown Solar Farm project. So why are we here today? We can now officially confirm that there will be a BESS as part of this project, but it will require a separate resource consent. So in today's Transpower generation and energy storage connection pipeline spreadsheet, bit of mouthful there, the consent column states under BESS that a BESS is awaiting application.
1 minute.
This indicates that the council will receive the application in due course. So this raises an important question. What exactly is a battery energy storage system and what does it mean in practical terms for a project like this? So to help with this, I'll hand over to Richard Schofield, who will outline what a BESS is, what it does, and the key considerations typically associated with it.
30 seconds, please, Richard.
Oh,
Not going to do that.
we're going to do 3.
I think we're, well, I think
That's normally, because that's normally how we do it in Cardiff, we would allow 3 people.
People.
So he's got, I think yours is a 2-minute presentation. or-
Something like that.
And mine's about the same.
we're happy too. We're happy. We're happy. Carry on.
Okay, my name is Richard Schofield. I'm a graduate electrical engineer, but most of my career has been in telecommunications. But tonight I've been asked to talk about, explain what BESS is, what it really stands for. BESS, as Jill said, stands for Battery Energy Storage System. The electricity grid is full of energy storage systems. Hydro dams are obvious. Thermal heat underground is another one, and even coal and gas are energy storage. So the difference with solar farms is they don't have any storage system. When the sun goes down, they turn off. And even when it gets cloudy, they almost turn off the amount of electricity generated per month. So it's not a good match for what the grid needs. The grid needs peak power during the morning and in the afternoon. So enter the battery energy storage system, which is largely what the name says. It's a collection, a huge collection of battery cells connected together to make one big humongous battery. Complete with truckloads of electronics to charge and discharge it. And they're usually housed in an array of container-sized factors so they can be moved onto the property. And so during the day they charge, and during the evenings they discharge into the grid to provide peak usage power. That's optimal for the power company because they get a lot more money by putting power into the grid at peak times. So for them, they really wanted it. And it's why we submitted to the Environment Court consent hearing for the Greytown Solar Power Scheme. We're really cynical during the application. When Far North Solar told us no, BESS was planned. They told us this several times. And now we know a BESS of 200 megawatt hours or thereabouts is planned. So yeah. Technologies, these things run on all sorts of chemical mixes. The most obvious is lithium iron phosphate, the most common one in battery electric cars these days. They represent a fire danger when they go up, so they burn the can't be put out. There's vanadium flow, which uses aqueous solutions of vanadium, which is fine, they can't catch on fire, but they pollute the ground. And then there's sodium-based, which is a new one coming that isn't actually in commercial production yet, but should be safer than lithium at a lower density. So we think that the council needs to take a grave consideration of fire safety systems, hazard material management, the noise and visual presence from fan noise, screening plantings and the like, and monitoring emergency planning, toxic gases and ground spills. That's my bit. I'm handing over to Rick.
Good evening. I'm also an electrical engineer, but my career has been in basically heavy current lines department in particular. We are concerned about the introduction of BESS, obviously, as we've said, because it's put a list to our rural economic powerhouses, particularly around Martinborough, which is a huge wine industry for New Zealand as well as our South Wairarapa. A good BESS requires extensive, expensive construction to mitigate the environmental and fire risk associated. Where they're intending to put this, or potentially where Far North a solar farm is proposed, is actually on loosely aggregated gravels. So we're talking about water contamination is going to be incredibly easy. We are not NIMBYing. Okay, so we're not NIMBYing, we're crying to the skies. These issues have been experienced overseas in Europe, the Americas, and possibly in the secretive Eastern Bloc. They've got environmental risks, chemical releases, such as Richard has alluded to. There's no effective controlled recycling or disposal of the batteries, lithium ion in particular. The noise and visual impacts, these are very noisy with the amount of water cooling they need. So all the cooling fans and stuff is going to be, this is a rural area, quiet, reasonably quiet. The noise is going to be more like you're sitting and working in Gracefield when the big plants are smashing copper apart. Water, going to need a lot of water. We are on aquifers now, as I said, we're on loosely aggregated gravels. The aquifers are deep. We've just been involved with Greater Wellington with doing the mapping of the aquifers. That water the aquifers come all over. Even if it's near Greytown, it's going to come and contaminate the Martinborough aquifers, which are going to contaminate and lose economic. There are a number of fire risks, which I have got down here. Toxic smoke, the spread of fire. One of the biggest ones is the emergency response challenge. I recognise I've only got half a minute to go. Is that these incidents, as they've been demonstrated internationally, require specialised procedures, training and coordination with fire and emergency services. Most of our fireys are volunteers. They're not going to get that training. There's also a lot of specialised firefighting equipment, which I severely doubt that we can get. This is a serious concern to us. And if you want to look internationally, the environmental impacts are not just here in New Wellington or wherever, they're not just in New Zealand, they're internationally across the whole world. Most of these minerals, lithium, coming from major mines in Africa, parts of Europe and parts of the continental Americas.
Okay. Thank you. So, well, you know. What?
That's absolutely fine. We will be sending a formal request to the council once we get the final decision. That will probably be within the next 2 months, we think, probably. The conditions are still obviously being looked at by the court. So until that's happened, they are unable to do a final decision around the solar farm. Obviously, the BESS is a different resource consent. So we'll be making a formal approach to the council once we've got the final decision.
So thank you, Jill. So what you've done is you've raised our awareness about the issues.
Yes.
Is that what you wanted to do tonight in terms of hearing before us?
Sorry.
Yes, in terms of coming here and talking.
So I understand that it will be on YouTube. So we will be putting that onto our 190 follower Facebook page, and we've had over 150,000 views since November. This is becoming a national sort of campaign, really, and other solar farms won't be consented until ours.
And it's actually becoming not just because people are supporting us, it's the fact that they're now becoming aware of the issue because there are a number of other solar, well, I call them industrial installations, going in where they need to have BESS as well. So they're beginning to say, hey, look, we're advising people of the issues in other environments as well as ours.
Well, obviously, you're setting the scene, you're setting the tone for what may follow. So I thank you for coming and thank you for presenting.
We have a question. How many BESSs support fire?
Internationally,
Yep.
There was 3 last week.
Where?
France, Belgium, and 1 in the United States. I'm sorry, I missed exactly where it was.
Documented program.
Yes.
We have got a report.
Causes.
2 of them are so new they haven't been fully investigated, but they are already saying it is the batteries that have gone, the lithium batteries. There are many shipping firms, for example, that will not ship EVs with their batteries installed.
But they're not BESSing.
It's essentially the same battery. It's the same battery type.
All right,
Weird as it may sound, but yeah.
yes. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Mel,
Joseph,
Well,
sorry,
that will be very quick.
yes, really quickly, it was just, you'll provide copies of what you've put in, and we can ask a question, come back and ask.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, we'll
I
provide.
really appreciate that, just,
We will discuss it
that'd be great.
amongst the board at a later date, as you would expect. Thank you. Thanks very much.
And thank you for your time. Thank you.
Okay, so item going to solve anything tonight. So actions from that public participation. I think for Rotary, we'll discuss that as a board at our informal meeting. And then we can go back to her. They're obviously looking for a contribution from the probably community grants that we have towards it. And I'm not sure that they're actually sure about what sort of a commemoration plaque or sculpture or children's playground piece of equipment and they're really. So there's a lot of water to go under the bridge. But I mean, I think that the thing is we need to get to the point where we just agree that we would support it. And maybe even,
Provide ideas.
I don't know, when we have money, the grant money, it's for other people to apply for it, not for the board to apply for it.
That's right. We would need to put in an application.
So they would have to put an application into the board for, and they're not going to put it in for this round because it's too soon. So it's going to come back in September. Okay, anything? That's the first one. Right. Now, second one.
We'll just have to wait.
Yeah, wait till we get the information.
Sounded that they were going to be putting in possibly a Lagoima request directly to council with some questions, depending on what happens in the aspects of
They're
that.
really waiting for the May, for the Environment Court decision in May. So that's for the
Excuse me,
solar
Chair.
farm.
He speaks.
Excuse me, Chair.
Yes.
Firstly, I'm wondering why, and sure they have come to our meeting today to make us aware of what may or may not be happening in the future. As a community board, we, I don't think we have any ability to influence any processes going forward because this is all in front of the Environment Court under Resource Management Act. I also didn't like the suggestion that was made that they came to our community board meeting because that was going to be recorded on the council's own YouTube channel, and they were going to provide a link for that video onto their own social media site. So Martinborough Community Board has been used for their own processes to advocate for or against their beliefs. I think we've received the information. There's still a process to go through. Whether or not an application is made to the Environment Court for a resource consent for the battery system remains to be seen. Once and if that does, well, then that will go through its own process. This community board can't or is not able to influence that going forward.
That's it.
Yeah, but I agree with what you say. But we are here as a community board to reflect the community.
Yes,
So you have to decide where, just what that means, Aidan, in terms of, I mean, there are real issues that need to be addressed.
and those real issues, James, get addressed through the Environment Court process.
Yes, they do that. They do, yeah.
Which as a community board, we don't have any influence over.
They're just starting talking about it with the community, I think, to inform people and as a us. They just started to speak about it within the community, right? To inform people. It's just like it looks like the start of their own, you know.
They're extending their
They're trying to find some support within the community, obviously. So it's like a bit like a consultation, I would say.
Chris?
I guess the only point is that, you know, we represent the Martinborough ward, and this is a facility going into the Greytown ward.
Well, it's going to use, if it uses a lot of water.
If it prevents there's damage.
I think
Potential.
I think we need to think about it.
Yeah,
See what they put forward too.
And I think the first thing is we wait for the Environment Court for the proposal for the solar farm. That'll be interesting to see what's required there for that consent to go through. But the battery, the BESS, is another. I mean, that will have to go right through the whole process, through the Environment Court.
we don't know if
We've got no idea
it's happening. You know, this is
whether it will happen or not.
correct. Like, so let's just instead of jumping at unicorns at the moment, let's just wait till it's actually factually in front of us, and it's actually a proposal, and then take it from there. Right.
Well, what say we agree to
Agree to disagree?
No. We agree to have a look at the Environment Court decision for the solar farm itself in May, when that comes through, just so that we are aware of it. And the battery one is obviously going to be a long process before it get to an approval. So there's plenty of time to come back and have a look at it. We don't. I take your point about what the community board's role is or isn't. It's a case. But I think
James, I think, you know, from my perspective, I think that for Martinborough, this whole solar farm and BESS thing is highly topical for the Greytown community.
Yeah.
Martinborough has other matters which are high, I believe, are higher on the priority list for Martinborough residents and Martinborough community within our own ward, within our own boundaries, than this. I mean, we've got our wastewater treatment plant issues. In the future, at some time down the path, we will have to sort out our drinking water supplies. We've got roading issues, we've got bridging issues, we've got connectivity and resilience to rural communities, etc. Like Cape Palliser Road.
Yeah, and civil defence.
Yeah. I'm not suggesting that we take any action particularly. But I think that we should as a community be aware of it. Just because it's in Greytown and it's 20 kilometres away doesn't mean that it won't necessarily affect us. So,
Basically, they are,
Water's gotta
they
come
are
from the right
advising
line,
us
otherwise-
about something which can possibly impact Martinborough ward too,
Yeah.
and we can't really ignore it. I don't
Yeah.
think we, right?
shall we?
What we can do is just wait for them
Yeah.
to send the information.
It's not real yet until the consent.
Yes, yeah.
But that's what I said. Why don't we wait until the consent comes through and then we can look at it, make ourselves aware of it. We may decide as Aidan has suggested that it's of no relevance to us, but we may not.
I guess it's not. The point is that it's bypassed the council from day one because it's gone to the environmental court. That's like, we've had no input into this whatsoever because of that decision, and the best will be no different if it in fact is real. We will have to wait till environmental court, and then this will become like, you know, there'll be people lobbying for this, and there's going to or against this. It'll just happen. Yeah.
Organically.
Yes, well, it's quite interesting if it is actually the first one. I'd like to do some research on that. Is it the first one in New Zealand, or is it just the first one in this area? I actually haven't.
What I've just very, very quickly, what they're calling BESS can also be classified as a power, like a Tesla Powerwall or things like that. So
Yeah.
that's where they're getting some of their information from about fires and things like that. It's not massive batteries or anything like that. So there's a little bit of research to be done before we can make any form of comment, because there's lots.
So I'm not suggesting. Where's it gone?
Can we park this
Yeah.
and move on?
Yeah. I'm not suggesting that we make any comment.
Yeah.
I suggest that we wrap it up and we say that we will wait to see the result of the Environment Court decision on the solar farm and further information in terms of the battery proposal. Just no, they can do fine. Okay. Is there any urgent business? There's none. Right. Number 8, confirmation of minutes. Minutes of the Martinborough Community Board meeting held on 2nd of February 2026. Recommendation is that the minutes of the Community Board meeting be confirmed as a true and correct record. Would someone like to move that? And second it, or you've got a comment about it?
Yeah, I'd like to,
make
just
a
leave in the report though, because when second receiving the report or when.
There are amendments that need to be made.
We should do them.
Yeah, great, because, the acknowledgements and tributes, and, this is probably my fault, but it's Martin Nelson Rami. Rami needs to be on the end, and
Nelson.
yeah.
That
Just, it's twice in that same little sentence. And that was it. And then I just have a couple of other questions, but if,
To do with the minutes?
yes, to do with the minute.
Yeah, well,
So the amounts and things in the committee resolution, page 8 and our ones, all the numbers have been crossed out and it's in bold. Is that because that's, I mean, that's different to what was discussed, wasn't it? So that's what's bold is,
were the original recommendations, and then there have been adjustments made.
yeah, so we would need to just make that we're approving these adjustments as well in these minutes.
They're in there, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we've agreed. So someone's moved and seconded, and all of those in favour have said aye
Aye.
to adjusting what it was from to what it is to.
And does that, do we know yet when the consultation documents for the annual plan and things are coming out for?
We don't have, and that's part of one of the reports that we've actually got in there. We're not consulting on the annual plan. You only need to consult on the annual plan when the significance and engagement policy is triggered, and we're pretty much doing exactly as we have planned as a council. It is the
And the long
alterations outside of that are not major enough to warrant the trigger and consultation for that particular plan. So
Okay.
okay.
So no
Would someone like to second that?
Was the mover, sorry.
Ross moved it. And second that.
Sorry, I just did have one other question though. So the annual plan, if it's not going out to be discussed, so when will that be approved?
Minutes, so can we offline that till? It's a question about the annual plan, and we can get to that, but that's actually written in the last report that we've got in terms of updates from council. There is still consultation, but it just doesn't need a specific consultation for the annual plan because there isn't anything that we need to consult on.
I don't know, sorry, I don't know if I'm making myself clear. My question is just simply when that would be going to council for the annual plan to be adopted? Like
Annual plan.
In June.
June, so it will be June.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, because it's just so that I could get in my head clearly when these financial numbers will actually be reflected back.
So the financial year is July to June
Yeah,
every year.
every year. No, that's fine.
And that's why we have to do the grant money this year before
Before the end.
June, before the end of the financial year. Are you happy now?
Yes, definitely. It's just, I guess, normally
No, it's fine.
consultation, it's like, so when it's jumping, I just couldn't get it to.
Excuse me, Chair. Can I just make a point? Mel, the reason that council has just, like Shannon said, isn't going to consult on the annual plan is because essentially what is in the annual plan is pretty much similar to what was decided to be in this year of the long-term plan. So the long-term plan was set last year, and this year is the first year of that of 10 years of the long-term plan, and council has decided that we aren't going. The council has decided with the staff that we aren't going to change anything significant from what was in the work plan that was set out in the long-term plan.
Okay, moving on.
Can I have a seconder?
Oh, yeah, second, yeah.
And a second. Right, number 9. Decision reports from Chief Executive and staff. Dennis, are you going to?
This is,
Shannon.
we don't necessarily need to speak to this. I'll
Good.
take the report as read. There's
Yeah.
only very, very small adjustments from our last meeting. So our last meeting, we resolved that we would put that surplus from the Christmas advertising back and that we were adding an extra $5,000 to our allocation fund in this year's financial year community development plan. And those, based on these new updates, have been actioned. We haven't spent anything else or made any other decisions. So it's just an update with those 2 changes that's being made.
Right.
I'll take questions.
Happy?
Oh,
Okay, so Mark,
sorry. There's another aspect to that as well. I apologise. I didn't, when we talked about putting money back to the main allocation fund in the last report, I was only looking at your community development fund. I wasn't looking at your operational expenses or any of your other budgets. And there was an amount in there of $150, which was ring fenced for the printing of the AED maps and morning tea, which was last year. That's no longer required by this board. They were already printed through the photocopier, and the morning tea was provided by another organisation. So I'd like to recommend that if we add that $150 back into our budget.
be happy to agree with you.
And next time I'll make sure I check all of the financial reports and not just the mainly touched one. Apologies.
Okay, Martinborough Community Board resolves to see the income and expenditure update and to move surplus $150 ring fence funding goes back into the main operational expenditure budget. So we're agreed. Who would like to? Yes, who would like to second it? Nana?
Everybody agree?
Yes, we all agree.
I
Agree?
agree.
Good.
Right, so for you, Chair, I just had a question as well, just around this new training expenditure that we have there. The last few trienniums, so the community board has to pay for their representative if they to go to the community board conference. And I just wondered if that is something, whether this training sort of expenditure would be relevant for.
For training. I would suggest for this particular year that you might want to think about costs involved to getting people in for emergency management and civil defence as a priority. But it is an expensive budget for the board to decide how they consider to spend that money on training purposes. So just into consideration.
Okay.
I think it's also worth noting that the LGN's conference is in July.
Oh, yes,
One would be in July. You could still resolve to send someone before the end of the year, but it would be a payment out next year anyway.
Okay. Yeah. It can be like more than a few $1,000. So if you needed to say.
It doesn't carry over to the following year. So yeah, it would need to be expenses, but based on that amount of money in the financial year, there's no rollover of those budgets.
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, moving on, number 10. Information reports from Chief Executive and staff on Payne Farm. Janice.
Chair. I wasn't able to be at the meeting when Payne Farm came up. I think it was probably your first meeting. I was asked to put together a brief history of how council came to be involved in Payne Farm. So I have pulled together the relevant information into this report. I've also given you the information from Simpson Grierson, which has not previously been published, as we were working through the other land purchase, and we were keeping everything obviously confidential because the negotiation's still taking place. So I'll take the report as read, but happy to answer questions if you have any, because this will all be due to most of you.
Are there any questions? We visited Payne Farm. Thank you for arranging that. And we were suitably impressed with the state of the house. It's actually I went there in 2004, I think. I would have to say that it considerably improved since then. So that's the main house is done, and I see in the long-term plan the small cottage and so on is due. It has money set aside against it in 3 years' time or 4 years' time. So that's good. We do we have any questions about the actual Payne Farm or the trust or the money from this report of Janison? No. We have had a discussion with some members in terms of how the Payne estate is used, how the building is used, and whether it could be tied more to use by the community rather than just simply as a rental place. We realise that rent produces a certain amount of money. If it was to change its use, we'll still have to get some revenue similar to what it does. But those discussions and those thoughts are for the future. Really.
The other thing that you really need to bear in mind is that the council is the trustee here.
Yeah,
and
we would have to ask you.
You would have to be putting all of those requests through to council. That's not a decision this board can make, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, we understand that.
Because it always used to be like that anyway. We had to, everything got put at the council table, at the community board table. So here's all the presentations, and then we would say this much for those ones, or however we had a plan, and then it would go through from us to council to that to be approved. I know that wasn't happening when you came in, but that
No,
was
I
the
don't
old
know.
process that they had.
The grant policy, I think, was written in such a way that the board had delegated authority when it shouldn't have. And that only became clear when we went through work with Simpson Grayson. So. I think there was also some discussion around separation of the system council. That is that's a lengthy road to take because it's a High Court request. And it's expensive to do. So if there is any intent to that, a decision with the costs that would come with it. And you're talking 6 figures. It's not a few thousand to do.
There is, hereby said, I mean, there is also the question about whether the Payne estate in its current format is the most revenue generating establishment that it could be, that it could be.
Dare I say, put solar farm on it.
Did you hear that, Aidan? Huh?
Yes, I did. And that, and you might laugh, James, but James, you might laugh, but that was discussed by community board members in the last training as an option.
Right. Well, I couldn't see why not myself. I mean, the thing is, it's a parcel of land. It only produces a certain amount of money as a cropping venture. And if there were other ways of actually creating more revenue for the purpose for which it was left to the community, then I think that would be sensible. And you'd agree, Aidan? No?
I've got a different view, James, but that's okay.
Have you? Right.
I think we should, rather than spending our time and resources researching, trying to find different ways of earning a greater income, which could therefore benefit the community, because that would be a costly piece of work to do, and it may also well have and require legal advice as well, which is never ever going to be cheap. I think from the community board, when Mel and I joined, we pushed, and the other community board members pushed really hard to get the buildings up to standard and up to speed, so that the best income and the greatest amount of income could be earned to be distributed to the beneficiaries.
Yep. Well, certainly the place is in pretty good shape. So where are we?
We need a move.
Do we accept that? Where was the recommendation for that?
Just to receive.
Oh, the recommend that we receive the report?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We move on.
Let's do so.
Who's going to talk the next one? Janice? No,
That's
you're
fine.
going to talk to the
I think it
panel.
might be a little bit of a group effort, to be honest. This is an update just in regard to our last council meeting. There were a couple of items where councillors requested that these items be brought forward to community board members, so they wanted to get these in front of you. A couple of key things that we've done. The first is our customer transformation program, and there's documents attached, which I'm sure you've all had a look at, in terms of our customer charter and our customer service transparency policy, and the new implementation of Zendesk, which is a centralised customer service tool, which allows us to move away from advising of issues via sending emails and actually have a really good place to keep all of this information. A little snippet there of what the council has discussed in terms of metrics and reporting, and again that the council has requested community boards have visibility of these newly adopted charter and policy, which is why I've included them. The second one was also the amendment to the naming of the public roads, private roads and rights of way policy, which has just been updated. councillors request some clarification of terminology, definitions, approval processes. They wanted some strengthening language around partnership with mana whenua. Again, making sure that the community boards received a copy of this, because this is formally one of your delegations I'm aware of, and updating of flowcharts and application forms, which unfortunately are not in this copy, and I'm just about to find out if they've actually been actioned, and when they have, I can I can distribute a new.
As you say, I think that's the key thing, Shannon, is just that everybody needs to be aware of that it used to sit with community boards, and that's no longer going to be the case. It's going to be taken back over by council. That's right, isn't it? The actual naming of the.
Oh, the naming, sorry, I thought
Right.
holistically on the whole report.
Oh,
yes.
no. Yeah, that
Now terms of
only that, not the customer service policy, but but that one that used to sit with the community board. So that is a change. Yeah, that's not going to be coming. And it says about strengthening work with mana whenua, but it doesn't change in the document itself.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not sure. This copy that I've been sent is our final update.
Oh, okay.
But I think that we have a final update. Because the one that I've received
Isn't quite right.
hasn't taken into consideration the changes that were requested by
Various questions that the councillors made.
Yeah. I think it's also just gone up on our website as well, so I'll just make sure that that's taken down and it's adjusted to incorporate those changes. And the third one's actually just something I found myself in the meeting, because it was actually mentioned at the last Greytown informal meeting as well. They were starting to talk about consultation on the annual plan. So I thought I'd just pop that in there to let you know that we don't need to consult on the annual plan. And I won't need to speak to that any further from what I've already said. And obviously, Councillor Abrams has also just advised us that we're in our first year of our long-term plan and status quo from what we've already discussed that will take.
So just, that first point, I don't know if you've noticed a change with the communication with council, but there's certainly been a lot of pushing. So with Antenno and Zendesk is going to be really critical to just get this whole council actually customer focused. And it's a really exciting step. It's investment into that step, which is being engaged to at the moment.
They talk quite extensively about it at the council meeting on YouTube. If you haven't had an opportunity to have a listen to any of things discussed, I think there was a good half an hour discussion around what it's going to do and what it means for this council to have that as well. Much better clarification and understanding of where things are at and how things move along and who things sit with, as opposed to just sending emails and finding answers. So it's, really good step in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, I think although, council has excellent staff, and they always have, and they've one of the things with this process, I mean, it's just giving people the tools they need, because you look at how well they did in that customer service in that, and I mean, that's outstanding work, and that's a true reflection of how good the staff are there. So I actually think putting in place some tools that actually, some measurements that also reflect those things, so that people, it's such a positive story, and so that people can see that and are constantly being reminded that this is one of the best little councils in New Zealand.
The question about the Zendesk, will that is it app based? Is it something that we'll see, or is it completely hidden?
No, it's our back end system.
Right. So we don't see
No,
it.
Antenna is where you lodge the queries and those.
But the queries are lodged through Antenna.
If you go through Antenna, then Antenna will put them through Zendesk. This is really to make sure that customer queries that come in that can't be resolved at first point resolution don't get lost.
Yeah.
And sometimes they get lost because somebody emails somebody leaves, it gets lost in an inbox. This will give us control. We'll know how many we've got, how many have not been actioned, how many are overdue, because we will put time limits on them and tell us which activity or which department's holding them. It'll make us much more responsive, because there will be discussions at the strategic leadership table with the GMs responsible for the areas.
Well, the council business is much more present than it has been for long
Yeah, I
in
think,
terms of Facebook in general.
yeah, the communications, but we've had those really big high risk of storm and weather events as well, and the communications from council to all of us.
It was
with
good.
what was
Dennis
going
didn't go
on.
to sleep.
So,
I just keep pushing the
Yeah.
when I get it.
No,
But thank you for
right.
pushing Antenno. I saw that on
It is.
Facebook, so thank you.
I love it.
Any chance you get to push Antenno, please do.
Yeah.
And we put,
Great.
Nana has put it up on our Facebook.
Conversation killer, no, no.
Yeah, and we're generally making it available, showing it to people. So it's-
Yeah. Yeah, that's-
So will we agree to receive the updates from this council report? We are agreed. You'll be happy.
Can I have us?
I think I can.
Yeah.
Seconded it.
All right.
It's self-fulfilling.
If I get updates specifically from council,
Yes.
so that's where they'll go in here as well.
See on naming of roads. Mine is called Away. My private road, your private road is called Away as well, and you'll be pleased to know.
Yes.
Or a lane, or a lane, actually. A lane or a way. Right, we're up to 11. Quickly looking at through this. Oh, I'm apparently the author of this report. Okay, so Cape Palliser Road submission. We have, there's a copy attached to this report. We have submitted it.
Interest, who did you submit it to?
Yes, well, I was just thinking,
Went to Tim.
I went to the grow, was it?
Tim Langley.
Yeah.
Tim Langley.
yeah, well, it went to Shannon
Yeah.
to
I
submit
asked
it.
where
for
it
us.
needed to go, and Tim said he would incorporate that feedback into his
And you
submission.
flick it to me as well?
Yes.
This, because I thought this is really great. This is an excellent submission. The only thing that was on there, and I thought I had sent it through, but I really could have missed it. But we have 2 iwi in our rohu, and that's Rangitane and Ngāti Kahungunu. So even though you specifically talk about this, the settlement that's been had so far with Kahungunu, Te Warara,
Did I not correct it?
it just needs to have the words lies within the rohi of Rangitane and then it's just Rangitane and applied inside there. But I think it's pretty important that
Okay.
it's acknowledged that there's 2 iwi.
Quick question, you said that Rohi?
That is correct.
Oh, rohi, which is the area.
Oh,
Space.
area.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the rohi.
I don't,
Yeah, I don't know.
No. Now, next one is the Five Towns Trail. And the idea there of a public meeting in April with John Bushnell actually leading that. I think make sure that we get the process right. But I think that did it go out? I send it out to. Has everybody seen the proposed meeting document?
No.
Well, that's that. Even up there. So I met with John Bushnell, who is a mover and shakers in terms of the Five Towns cycle and walking trail for the Greytown area, and is also involved in the Carterton component of it, which is the new bridge proposed over the Tauwharanekau. And he
Is that Waihini
point-
River? Sorry, James.
Waihini River, yes.
Taranika's already got a bridge.
Yeah, right. It's the beautiful looking one. Have you seen the proposed plan of it?
No, I haven't.
You haven't. Well, you have to come to the meeting in April, and he'll have a picture of it. So, the Martinborough, the South Wairarapa District Council, is behind the Five Towns Trail. That's based on their October 21st statement, but in fact, they put money aside in the long-term plan for cycling and walking.
They did, but it's out of date now. The government pulled the funding from the GPS. They cut back on cycle trails and walking. So there's.
When did they take it?
That was last in 2023
Sorry,
with the new
that's-
government.
yeah,
This was
that-
2021.
Yeah.
So when I first.
But there is money in the long-term plan for cycling, and
It's limited.
yes, it's only, it's not part of the millions of dollars, but there is some money there. It's about, I was looking at it today. But anyway, there's a number of things that can be done that don't necessarily require a great deal of funding, and there are some things which do require a lot of funding. And if it isn't going to come from the council because it hasn't got the money, then it's got to come from somewhere else, or it doesn't happen. But Featherston have got their walk and their bridge. The Greytown area is quite advanced. The Carterton one is a bit up in the air, their component, and their support, the council support for it. But Martinborough sort of hasn't got off the. So the proposal is that we hold a public meeting, that the community board hold a public meeting, and that John will actually just present what's been done to date, what the original plans were, and what the possibilities still are. So
Wouldn't this be quite a good meeting for the new representatives of the new walking group to attend as well?
well,
Sorry, I know that
I think you're jumping the gun there.
I've just, but
There's two parts to this. One part is the real trails around New Zealand, which like the Central Otago bike track, and there are others. And there are some sort of further north, and they were all supposed to connect up, basically, right round the Wairarapa, right through round the Rimatakas, through to Wellington, round the sea, and then on down to the South Island. So there's that aspect of it, and then there's also then the local aspect, the potential for the walk and cycle around the outskirts of Martinborough, around the wineries, as well as within Martin, which probably will definitely cross over with the RAC. So the question is whether we go ahead with this. Whether people are agreeable. Are there any questions about it?
I'm agreeable with it. I think it's a good idea.
There's a lot of public interest in it outside from a whole lot of all the cycling groups and
that's on Facebook.
walking groups. Any comment?
I think what would be really great if the whole Wairarapa could come together as one on this.
There's all Fran's talked about trying to pull them together. which would be good.
Which is really hard because doing it by piecemeal, like to actually have the full plan of the Wairarapa is much easier to sell, to get going than doing.
The original five trail cycle did have a plan and a project and
Well, there is a plan.
included pathways down and along.
Who's seen it?
Road.
Well, that's right. I mean, that would be page one for me. It'd be like, wow.
Well, this is page one.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, to get the whole of the Wairarapa or the South Wairarapa to buy into it, you need to have people from each of the communities. So I would suggest the first thing you need to do in this community is actually to make people aware of what's there, what other people have done and what's possible. And I think then we would look to see who would like to stand up and participate in forming a group to do something about it, which is not a community board.
Yeah.
I think the original plan when it came to the council table when I first arrived was that there would be external capital funding. We wouldn't be expected to put any funding towards the creation of the trails. We originally put money in to stand up the group for its governance, setting the creation of the group, and that they would then go off and get external funding. But this was under the previous government when they were looking at money for this. Because they were heavily into alternate modes and using cycleways and trails more extensively than the current government. So it's when that money was withdrawn and they put a handbrake on the Five Towns trail.
Yes, but it did, Janice, but still some of it was done.
That was because there was external funding there.
Because there was money there.
PGF or whatever the funding was.
Fund, yeah, was the other.
That's where that came from. The Talfar-Nico Bridge, I believe, was done under that and then passed to council, so.
Yeah. Well, we understand that it's the situation at the moment, but I don't think that, I think we should just carry on because otherwise nothing will ever happen. Okay, so the actual organising of that meeting, can I give that to you?
Well, you need to tell me what you want me to do, but we can do that after. I've tentatively booked the town hall, but that's the only instruction I've had so far. But
right.
You just let me know what you need me to organise and I can help you with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so move on. Move on, Aidan.
Yep.
Okay. Just a note that Anna and I went to the emergency management meeting at Ruakaka Hall. It was interesting because it's a community driven, and so it's potentially somewhat similar to what we may be involved in, but we're waiting for our meeting with Nigel, which is now rebooked for next Monday night. Yes. So that's and we visited the Payne State. We've talked about that. I don't have any further information on the Martinborough Access Reference
I
Group.
can add to that.
Yeah.
So basically, we got a lot of applications for it across multiple.
How many? Can we ask? How many? Like what are we talking about?
It was around 40.
40?
Yeah.
So,
So, and it's been, I believe it'll be released very soon, actually, the final list. So. But it's
it'll be a good cross section.
yeah, it's great. It's great. Yeah. I say that when I don't know the full, like, I know about 3/4 of them.
People.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But we've got people from business, we've got families, we've got people who have done urban design, we have trucking companies, we have iwi, we have business, we have people who have been quite vocal in the town in the past.
Will you be chairing that?
No, that's Connor Kershaw is the chair.
Oh, he's going to be the chair. Right.
And I believe the 3 Martinborough ward councils will be there, and then this group. Then we'll press the go button.
and James, though, you're
And you.
community board?
Yes, well, so I've been told.
Yes, James.
That'll be good. Okay, good, that's great. So we can expect to hear about that any day. Now, general consultation and community outreach. I can combine that with the database too. I think Nana is sort of putting together slowly a database. We don't really
Had
have
one entry on there so far, so it's good.
we don't, you know, we're because we are supposed to consult with the community and because we have to demonstrate that we've consulted with the community, we need to know who it is that we should be consulting with, and so therefore there doesn't seem to be a database that we know of. And so we're putting it together. We've talked to, for instance, the Heartlands people who have a quite extensive voluntary and other community organisation database. So that will be a component of it. And obviously schools and other organisations. But it's just being done on spreadsheet, isn't it?
Mm.
We don't know. Does council have a? Do you have any software for that purpose? You don't.
It's only a very tiny community, Martinborough, though. I think we can use spreadsheets pretty
Well,
we've got
okay.
all of the information. It's just not in one place. We can easily access it and put it all into one place. Use filters.
Stakeholder management software is very expensive.
Yeah. We've just got Zendesk.
I've got that.
After many, many, many years of doing things in manual processes, I don't think we can extend that to the Martinborough Community Board software.
Well, can I suggest that, and other people might like to help, that actually develop a plan for what the database should look like, so that we can then actually individually feed into it. Because we've all got different areas, different organisations that we like to do that and bring that to the next board meeting.
Yep.
And just to report, we were happy to hear the wastewater proposal given to the community board. One thing, Janice, wasn't totally clear was, and I think because it's perhaps not known yet, was the actual levels of pollution that are going out of each of the systems and finally out to onto land in terms of chemicals. There was some talk. There is a certain level of expectation in the original resource consent about what those levels would be at the, and I think they may have been even reduced somewhat under this new proposal, the new wastewater proposal from the government in terms of.
No, you can't consider the 2025 regulations in terms of the Martinborough, the wastewater treatment plant. The two things don't go together.
Well, so are the levels and the levels, are they the same as the original
Consent.
consent?
The consent is live. Those levels remain.
Okay.
But I've had this already from another inquiry, because those standards came out in December 2025. They apply going forward. Our consent was in place in 2016. So it's already an established consent. And all of the consents depend on the sensitivity of the receiving environment, and those standards will not apply to every wastewater treatment plant in New Zealand. In some cases, you will be operating under the continuation of the RMA consenting process, and our receiving environment is such that we would probably always remain under the RMA, because tables, we are not in, we're looking at the word I'm looking for. No, we're not a receiving environment that soaks up the water. It evaporates. It's an evaporation field, which is why it can only go at certain times of the year, it can't go in the winter, those kind of things are all triggered by the fact that we've got a high water table and we haven't got a lot of ground for everything to soak into. So that generally means, I'm led to believe, that we would never meet the standards for the new consent,
For the new consent.
for the new process.
Right. And unless we had secondary treatment.
Or unless you tear up the consent you've got and start again, which I would not recommend.
Well, no, you wouldn't want to do that. Yeah.
Thanks, look.
No, no. Getting the consent running until 2051 was unusual when we got it, so let's keep it.
True. All right. Now, has anyone else got any other things that they want to bring up before we close?
In relation. Your.
Oh, shall we
don't have
receive it?
general business section.
I'll receive those.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Stop for a second.
I have one more things up there.
Sorry? The only other thing was the publication of the timetable for community board meetings and for Saturday morning station.
Oh, you at the community,
For the community board Saturday morning open session, which we need to publicise. So,
Just let me know what needs to be put on where and when for what, and I can organise that.
oh, okay. I'll send you the post. It's already, we had it before.
If you've got a timetable that you're planning on popping up once, I'd probably go with letting people know a week in advance when you're having something each time.
No, oh,
Because the timetable's just gonna,
we decided the first Saturday of every month
socialise that.
as a way of coping with that.
okay,
So we can advertise and everyone can know.
okay.
What's this for, James?
The community boards in the past have run a sort of an open discussion session
Right.
with anybody who want to pop in
So like a what?
for about an hour and a half. No, it's
No, we're here and people can just come up and talk to us about it. So, right?
There's actually.
We can actually meet a community board.
Like a community.
Like
board
actually talking to the
session
community.
happening.
Right.
Well, if-
Saturday mornings for an hour and a half. It's in here. You have to have a copy.
and
No
it's
more than two.
it's at the front, the book table's at the front. Well, that's where you would normally have it. You wouldn't book the supper room, would you?
No, we'll just have them out for the
Evening and then,
Okay.
the information.
maybe, Mr. Chair, if I just put that in my calendar to advertise that few days out from every first Saturday of each month, letting them know that that's up and coming.
Just need to keep an eye on events in Martinborough. They're going to clash with that.
Yeah, well, our first one,
Well,
the Martinborough Fair.
yeah.
Well, we didn't.
Yeah.
So we didn't have.
Yeah.
This notice of this meeting, it can go in the Star. What is a formal process for doing this? Do I give this to you to go in the Star?
If you want advertising, then I need to create a purchase order for it from your operational expenses. It goes through our comms team first, just to make sure our language and wording is all okay and get approval, and then it can go.
Because if the Star probably wouldn't, they might give us the column piece, but they wouldn't. I don't think they would print this notice of this meeting free.
No,
So can I give this to you to put into the Star for 25th of March?
if we make it, I've already got one, haven't I?
Yeah.
25th of March. Oh, for April.
Yes, because it has to go in a certain date the week before. Otherwise they won't.
So we haven't missed the deadline.
No. That's why we made it April.
Like the last Wednesday or something of the month was when they have to have the.
And it's Wednesday, the 15th of April. Oh yeah, the last Wednesday of the month. Yes.
So do you want this to be your column?
Um,
Soon.
They're going to be writing anything else.
I think it's too long.
If I write anything else, is it, I'm not sure, does it go as, is it a paid for fees? Do you pay
I
for
don't
your stuff?
know what the stars are for the stars are for the cost. The cost,
Very.
star. Considering if you can think of how big the size of that Christmas ad was, it was a half price deal. So that was $120 that piece would normally cost. This would be.
I thought we could probably see about having a talk with the bar about whether they've got the space for.
Well, I know the,
So, because they have, that's it, they have in the past,
Yes,
the Martinborough Community Board has been allocated space within the.
yes.
Staff.
Just that maybe get the staff to talk to him and then they can do a piece on it.
I'd love to.
As a journal piece, as
Yeah.
opposed to putting an advert in.
They'd definitely like something to write.
Yeah, give them something to.
Then they
Sure.
can make the
Yeah.
date of the public meeting on, at the bottom and then.
Yeah.
You saw.
Not a bad
You
idea.
could send them that as a, you know, like as a document to go towards their piece, writing their piece.
I'm thinking about joining the community board.
Yeah, that's why lots of things need to go through to our comms team. They had a very good version of that at our great community board meeting. They have beautiful capital letters everywhere and misspelling. Yeah, we definitely need to get these things checked and censored, make sure that they.
How did you check with them if you want? Me too, James?
okay,
Do you want me to check with them with the star?
I'm sitting here.
I'll talk to
It's Lindsay,
I'll go for it.
it's Lindsay, right?
Yeah, no, he's got a smile about it.
I have a
I will talk to Lyle and I will
You'll come back.
arrange that, hopefully that we will have a piece about it. If she doesn't want to do it as full as it needs to be,
Mhm.
I'll come back.
Okay.
All right, shall we, anything else before we stop? Are we all happy? Are you happy, Aidan?
He's gone. He
Gone.
sent a note that was sitting up there saying I've had to go by.
Well spotted.
Yeah.
Okay, we're closed. Thank you.
Can we close and cut again?
Oh, yes.
Mātou mahi o tēnei wā. Manaki tia mai mātou katoa o mātou hoa, o mātou whānau, ai o ki te aorangi. I mean, do you have a vehicle? Yeah.
It was only. Very long.